Hey everyone, I'm back finally to review for you a new piece of equipment. And this is the Old Man mountain rack, the Sherpa rack, and it fits both the front and the back of your bike. So you can have it as a front rack or a rear rack, whatever you desire. And I wanted to set it up as a front rack, but I had some difficulties. I don't know if there's enough pitch in my fork that didn't really allow the rack to be set up, or maybe I'm missing part of a kit, but I don't think I am. But these do come with some, they have these for gravel bikes, fat bikes, road bikes. They come with their own special through axles, that adapting kits that fit. So you have to send them that information in order to have it work for your bike. So it is pretty specialized to different types of bikes. So when you get it, this is for the rear kit. A lot of the stuff was taken out because it's on my bike right now. But it comes with all these packets of different items, your instructions, and you got little slots for everything here. And I have this set up on my bike already because I did my test of it. So instead of showing you how to set it up, I'm gonna do it in reverse so you can see, you can imagine it in reverse and see how you would take it off, put it on. So before I take it off, I'm gonna show this to you here. So here is, they have their own seat post thing that you put above your regular seat clamp, or their own seat clamp, I guess I should say. These are the stabilizing bars, and then the only other place it attaches is right here on your through axle. So these also have a 70-pound or 31-kilogram capacity and a lifetime warranty. So things to keep in mind. I'm gonna unscrew the seat clamp here first, which you should need. I think it was a number 4. Extra here. Actually, I'm gonna put it on this end, and I should just be able to unscrew this. Maybe I should have used the other side. They do have recommendations about the torque for these and how many Newton meters you should tighten these. So I did use my torque tool when I set it up to, at the very end, adjust everything. Waiting for this to spring on me. So these are how the legs come in. They're very durable. I don't know if it's exactly steel or what, but super durable. And they do kind of flex and bend in, so that's how it hooks on there. I'm gonna do the other side here. All right, so I have both of those off now. Now you can see they're both unfolded, and next I will remove this completely. For this you'll need the hex tool, but you also have a nut on the back, so I'm gonna need a wrench for that. To accomplish this part, you're gonna need a 10mm wrench as well as your hex. There it goes. And then you have the nut, forgetting the name for that all of a sudden. A washer on the back, and then a washer on this side too. And then I'll do this other side off camera here. All right, so I have those off. So here it's just kind of hanging out loose. Show you the next step here. And then I've got, oh, where did I put it here? I put all the hardware back in the bag. And you will do that same thing. So you need the wrench as well as this to remove the rack from, let me lower this. So you have this piece here. So these two get removed. This is what puts the rack to your axle. So this little piece. All right, so I'm gonna get this here. I might not be in frame, but I'm gonna do this. And same things, you got your screws, your two washers on each side, and then the nut. All right, so I got these off. And the rack is off now, so here's just the rack itself. And now we get to contend with this part, which attaches to your through axle. For this part, you're just going to need your hexagon, and you're going to remove this. Woo, there it goes. Gonna repeat on the other side. All right, so now we have the through axle left here. So I will undo this part and basically get the wheel taken off and get that through axle out. It does actually say in the instructions to use the 5mm hex. So you just kind of put it through this. I'll show you up close here. This kind of circle they have, hollowed out hole to use leverage to pull out the through axle. So there's their through axle they give you, and you can kind of see what I'm talking about. You stick the 5mm through there, and then this is what that other screw for the rack goes into. That's it. So now I'll put my regular through axle in here. Get that back. So I'm taking the rack off. And that is that. So how you put the rack on is the exact reverse of what I just did. One thing you have to remove too is this collar here. So this collar also is apart and kind of just has bolts on both sides, and it has shins as well. That is how that's done. All right, so now we'll review here kind of my thoughts on this rack. So this is a nice, sturdy, durable rack. It holds 70 pounds, like I said, which is a pretty good limit. I don't foresee putting more than that on your rear rack, on, you know, needed on a rear rack, rear tires. So kind of some of the positives about this rack is that given that it hooks through your through axle and here, these are really your only 2 points of contact with the bike. So if you're like me and have like this gravel bike style, this is kind of necessary because I don't have the braze-ons on this to put a regular rack on. So depending on the style of bike you have, this could be a necessary and really one of your few options for a rear rack. So it is a great design by that way for these particular types of bikes. All bikes are different. So if you had braze-ons here, you know, this could be, you might not need something like this, but I personally would. I generally don't use racks on the rear personally because I just use seat packs, but everyone's different and you have different needs on different trips. So the other things that is kind of nice, even if you did have the braze-ons there, it is kind of nice to only have 2 points of contact because I know when I've gone on long tours and stuff, sometimes your screws come loose and you get rattling of your rack and stuff like that. And with minimal points of contact, you have less potential for that. And again, the amount of weight it carries is pretty good. I haven't ever had a rack that went through the through axle like that. So again, and I think it's a great design for these types of bikes or people's different types of bikes you might have that might not have the braze-ons available. My thoughts about it in ways that you may want to consider that aren't going to be beneficial is one of my immediate thoughts I had when I put this on was, what happens if I get a flat tire? Because that's a lot of different components to take off. Given that it's through your axle, that's a lot of components to take off on the side of a road somewhere. So that was one thought I had about it. However, with that said, what I would do, the only kind of tire I think I would run if I was using this rack is a tubeless, because there's, you know, you have less potential for punctures that you're gonna have to change with the tubeless. So, you know, you might have punctures and you might once in a while, if you have to put a tube on, you might have to take it off, but I would really only run this with a tubeless setup because of the potential for having to take it apart if you have a flat. It is a lot of componentry to set up, but again, if you have a type of bike without the braze-ons, that is going to be one of the things that you need. So it's even though there's it's a longer assembly process than a lot of other racks, it's still great for a bike like this. I wish I would have been able to try it on the front. It does have here's my kind of front setup. It does have a different axle for the front as well. Like I said, I think the pitch on this bike isn't enough, so I couldn't get the rack to fit. But you know, that might not be everybody's bike. It could just be my particular bike. And I meant to check back with the company and ask them about that, if I'm maybe missing some pieces or something, but that doesn't appear to be the case. So, but some other people might not have problems with that at all. Overall, I do think it's a good, if you're running tubeless, you don't have razors, this is a really good option for people to use, and I recommend checking them out. You can buy it. The cool thing about this rack is you can use it for the front and the back. So it's used for both of them, and they'll send you this whole setup kit. You just give them the specifications of your bike so that your axles will fit. And I think they have skewers too, so they have some for quick release tires as well. So you don't have to have through axles to use this rack. They have setups for various different types of bikes. So check it out. The Sherpa rack from Old Man Mountain. Thanks for looking at my videos again, and hopefully I'll be back with reviews soon.